this is the best singles run of Christian's career. I don't care about championship titles or what have you. What we're seeing from Christian, this is, to me, a career highlight for him.
Remember during the week when Edge talked about freedom within the WWE and how he felt free coming to AEW? I'm telling you, Christian feels the exact same way, because no matter what the WWE did to give Christian a chance, Christian never got the same chance that Edge got in the WWE. Christian is now being allowed to be the version of Christian that Christian always wanted to be. And I can tell you firsthand, in the nicest of ways, that Christian is an egotistical prick who truly thinks he's better than everybody else and always was the bigger heel in the team. And now you're just seeing it play out, and it's going to play out better with Adam more than anybody else. I will only use myself as an example to lend credibility to what they are doing. Bully Ray needed to turn on Devon. If Bully Ray would have turned on anybody else other than Devon, it would never have worked as well. Because these are two guys that we know and love and appreciate and watched gel and succeed together, whether it was Edge and Christian, whether it was Matt and Jeff, whether it was Bully and Devon. So Christian saying this to Edge means a lot more than if he said it to anybody else.
I agree, because we know as fans what this relationship means, what it means to the history of pro wrestling, and what it means to both Edge and Christian. I'm going to go back to something, Bully, that you said on the show Monday. And we played back what Adam Copeland had to say in the media scrum afterwards. And he talked about the history of him and Christian, talked about the what his daughter had to say, all that stuff. And you mentioned, you said, man, I would love to hear this Wednesday night when he's in the ring with a microphone in his hand. And I was thinking to myself, Bully, I was like, man, how are they going to do that? Because obviously Adam Copeland is coming back as an uber babyface. Christian is the biggest heel that AEW has, maybe next to Don Callis. And I was like, how can they do that? How can he go in the ring and talk about, you know, his relationship with Christian and talk about what his daughter had to say? How can he do that on the TV show Dynamite? Well, he did it last night, and it happened perfectly. He showed that emotion. Hell, I mean, Bully, he doesn't need to say any, like, listen, you could say about, hey, one day I'd love to be in the ring with Kenny Omega, and I'd love to be in the ring with so-and-so, and I've never been able to do this, I've never been able to do that. That's all fine and good. Once he talked about his relationship with Christian that we all know about, and then his daughter saying, why don't you finish your career with Uncle Jay? That's all the emotional investment you need. That's it, all there, right there.
None of those dream matches that Edge talked about up front on the show when he was talking to Jericho and Omega, none of those dream matches mean a damn thing to me. They're going to be, will they be fun to watch? Sure, but they're just dream matches. So it's just a wrestling match. Him and Jay, they used to talk about how they reeked of awesomeness. Yeah. Him and Jay in a story reeks of awesomeness because we are emotionally invested in these two men and what they have done for us in the pro wrestling business. Edge versus Christian, Adam versus Christian is not a dream match. Adam versus Christian is a dream story.
Yes, I agree with you 1,000%. So, Bully, I'm going to pose a question that one of our callers asked earlier in the show. When do you have this match? Now, I believe it was Rostafa said, do you wait until next year's All In at Wembley? Can you do that? Can you wait that long? I brought up the fact that there's a pay-per-view coming up in 6 weeks. Do you have this match at the pay-per-view in 6 weeks? When do you have this match? Because the reason it's an interesting question, Bully, because Adam Copeland's stepping into the ring with Luchasaurus next Tuesday. And we'll get into next Tuesday later on in the show as well. Can you wait months until they step into the ring together? What are your thoughts?
One of the things that I despise in wrestling is instant gratification. And one of the things that I really despise is the terminology and the saying that it's a different business. It's a different time. Because I completely disagree. But what I do agree with is how fans do want instant gratification now. They want it and they want it now. And sometimes their interest falls off if they don't get what they want right now. However, what will keep even the most ardent wrestling fan who wants instant gratification around for a long time? Storytelling and characters. And I will take you back. You asked me, can you hold this off? And you even threw in a year because I think Mustafa might have mentioned it.
He mentioned All In next year. So that's almost like, 10 months?
Great. Paul Heyman kept Sabu and Taz apart for 1 full year. They never touched. Now, was it a different time? Yes. But the story remains the same. If you keep the story and the characters strong enough, you could hold it off to where people are salivating. They announced Cena versus The Rock a full year before it even took place. Yes, it can be done. I do not want to see Edge versus Christian happen anytime soon, because then you've just blown through it. And one of the critiques that I have had of AEW is they blow through stuff. But if Christian and Edge have any say in this, they're not going to blow through this. There's no reason to blow through this. You can put a million hurdles in front of Edge. You can have your dream matches, and Christian can always be the constant that's involved in the story. So what I think what we saw so far, if I'm going to try to read the tea leaves here and read in between the lines, I think what we saw last night is, because I think you said that you had a little bit of confusion. He says it, Ed says at the beginning of the show, I want to have all these singles matches, but then at the end of the show, Adam's like, we need to be a team again. Right?
Yeah, I think it might even have been within the same promo last night.
Okay. Maybe it was. So are we supposed to get these individual singles dream matches, or do you really want to be in a tag team with Christian again? I think we're going to get both. I think we're going to get the dream matches, and the story is going to be with Christian along the way. Would you like that? See, I like the A and the B story. And if you have a strong enough character, you can do both. So yeah, Edge is going to have his dream matches with anybody, but the constant that's going to run underneath is the story with Christian.
I like it, but I'm going to go a different way, Bully, and I'm going to go really old school here too. And the fact is that Christian is your TNT champion. Now you can really elevate this championship, because I don't know if anybody's really been able to do that, but you can do that here. I think you can have a match at Full Gear between Christian and Edge. I think you can do an old Dusty Flair story where Dusty and Flair met in the ring many, many times, but Dusty could just not beat Ric Flair for that championship, whether it was Ric Flair getting himself disqualified, the Four Horsemen getting involved. You could go that route where it looks like Adam Copeland's going to win this TNT championship, but something always prevents him from winning that championship title, almost like Hogan and Nick Bockwinkel back in the day in the AWA, where man, Hogan just came so close to winning the title, but something would happen to prevent him from winning that championship. You could go that route here because I got to be honest with you, Bully. Anything less to me is going to be a bit of a step down. What I saw last night, man, I don't know if I want to see Edge in the ring with anybody else. You talk about these B stories.
That's why you make them wait for it.
But if you make it about the championship but you also have the thread of their relationship together, you could have a series of matches throughout the year. And I'm not talking about a match every week or a match every month. A match every pay-per-view, which is just, every 3 months. I think you could have a long-term story told between those two with them stepping in the ring.
The beauty of what I'm saying and what you're saying lies in Edge and Christian as performers, because either one of these ideas can work, because Edge and Christian are going to make it work because they are great storytellers with phenomenal minds. I have an abundance of confidence in what these guys are going to be able to pull off. Edge and Christian are going to be able to pull off probably one of the best stories told in AEW's very young history. It's going to take some time, and they're going to slow play it. And I would love them to get to the point where fans are just salivating to see. You're going old school, but so am I. I want to see people salivate to see Edge get his hands on Christian for what he said.
First of all, you and I are kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah, we are.
But going on different roads. You're talking about make them wait, have that payoff. I'm saying just have them physically tell that story that goes down a very, very
okay. So let's just say we go your way, and in 6 weeks we get Edge versus Christian, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not suggesting Edge wins, right?
No.
So who's gonna screw him?
It could be Nick Wayne. It could be Luchasaurus. It could be Christian himself.
That's pretty obvious. Maybe the Kenny and Jericho thing comes into play. That Edge never did the right thing. I don't know.
But see right there, Bully, that's fat. See, we're coming up with some great ideas here. So if there is a match, let's just say at Full Gear you have a match between Christian and Edge, and Christian gets himself disqualified, retains the title because of outside interference from Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. Then you could have that promo of where he's like, guys, where were you? I'm getting attacked in the middle of the ring. Not one of you could have come out and saved me. And that's where Kenny could be like, do you remember the night you debuted on Dynamite? Where were you when I was getting attacked? Then you could start that B story. So Christian and Edge still touch, but then you can have a B story follow up. I mean, it's just, Bully, it's just another way to tell a long-term story, because whether it's building up to Edge and Christian finally touching, or it builds up to Edge finally beating Christian for that TNT championship, you're telling a very long-term story.
And I'm all for it, because one of the biggest things, one of the biggest gripes, concerns, criticisms that I have had, and many other people have about AEW, is the lack of storytelling. And even though we see them try to do storytelling at times, and I think MJF is a good example, whether it was the 4 Pillars story, which even though I wasn't into as much as all the other stuff that Max does, it still was a story. It was episodic storytelling that took place every week.
This going on with him and Adam Cole.
Absolutely. And I think I enjoyed the stuff with Adam Cole and MJF more than I'm enjoying the stuff with Adam Cole and Roderick Strong right now. But it's still storytelling. I think AEW has set their own perception with just match after match, after spot fest, after match, after gimmick match, after this, after that, that when they attempt to do storytelling, it kind of gets lost in the sauce. So I'm hoping this Edge and Christian story does not, and I do not believe it will.
We saw that vignette with Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. We saw it. We didn't necessarily hear it. They played it again. I know that you love what's going on with Adam Cole and MJF. And I love what's going on with Adam Cole and MJF. Obviously, things had to pivot. Things had to change because of the injury to Adam Cole. What do you make of this story between Adam Cole and Roderick Strong?
I'm just not as into it. And it's probably because over the past 10 years or so, I have not been able to get into Roderick Strong as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe it's going to take a little bit more time for me. And I think Roderick Strong is doing the best character stuff that he's ever done. But I'm not still on board yet. And when I look at Roderick and like Cole, like doing the things on the scooters last night, like I was entertained watching Adam and MJF play dodgeball.
Yes.
And I felt like the dynamic was between Adam Cole and MJF was more mature. Last night, this is how I felt. I felt like I was watching children. I didn't feel like I was watching pro wrestlers that I should be afraid of.
It's interesting because there's something about chemistry and on-screen chemistry, right? I remember gorgeous Jimmy Garvin for years was with Sunshine. And then he got into Precious, was his valet. Left Sunshine, had Precious. Precious was his real life wife. So you would think that, wow, there's going to be a lot of chemistry between Jimmy Garvin and Precious. There was no chemistry. There was no on-screen chemistry between Jimmy Garvin and Precious. But there was on-screen chemistry between Sunshine and Jimmy Garvin. And they didn't have a real-life relationship. Adam Cole and MJF, they may be becoming friends now or have a relationship now, but they didn't. Roderick Strong and Adam Cole have had a very long friendship and relationship. MJF and Adam Cole have very strong chemistry on screen. Man, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong on screen does not have, to me, that same kind of chemistry.
And it doesn't matter what reason you have or reason I have, we both get to the same end result. We're just not feeling it. See, with Adam Cole and MJF, it feels like completely opposite ends of the spectrum, and that's why it works. Styles make a fight.
Yeah.
It's not clicking with me and Roderick. And then I have Matt Taven lurking in the background and Mike Bennett. And when I'm looking at Taven and Bennett, I'm like, them. I'm more into them and their background noise in this shot. They're peas and carrots. They're garnish, if anything. But I find myself looking at Taven and Bennett more than Cole and Roderick. Because with Cole and Roderick, I feel like I'm looking at kids playing while the adults are watching over them.
But they're telling more of the story with their facial expressions than what Roderick Strong and Adam Cole are actually doing verbally.
And I think that Taven and Bennett probably with their facials are saying exactly what we're saying with our voices right now. Ugh.
It would have been okay. I think, it may be the same issue with you. Like I agree with you. Roderick Strong is doing some of his best character work. Adam Cole's always had really good character work, even going back to his days with Ring of Honor. But when Adam Cole went on that scooter last night and he had that big facial expression like a kid on that scooter, I was just like, ugh.
What word?
I
What
was
word
like,
did you just
ugh.
say? What word did you just say? Kid. And I said I felt like I'm watching kids.
It was too much. It was too much. It was kind of like when it was MJF and Cole, it was childlike because that's what happens when friends get together. They get silly. They become childlike because of their friendship, and they get a little silly. You and I get a little silly on the air, right? We get kind of ridiculous. It felt like because of their relationship, they got a little silly. They got a little ridiculous. Last night, it just felt forced. It was just like, it was like, you're right, they're playing a part. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel natural. And I didn't feel that chemistry. Now, is it because we had to watch it again? Because the first time there was no audio? I don't think so. I don't think
Dave,
that's what it was.
when I watched it with audio, the first thing I said to myself is, I wish they would have just left it alone and let the theater of my mind. Because when I saw it the first time, I was like, all right, whatever. But when I heard it with audio, I was like, nope.
It was better with the audio. It was better without hearing what they were saying. Because again, Bennett and Taven tell the story with their facial expressions, and you got the gist of what was going on. I mean, Roderick Strong making him move furniture when he's obviously has an injury. Didn't really need the dialogue. It didn't help. And it kind of hurt watching it again because it actually wasn't really that great the first time. So making me watch it again, I mean, whatever. It just doesn't. I'm worried about, and it's unfortunate because Cole. I believe we all know now that Cole is legitimately injured. I know last week we're like, is this legitimate? It's definitely legitimate. I'm worried about where this story is going to go now because I'm much more invested in MJF and Jay White than I am with Adam Cole and Roderick Strong.
And give me NXT's version of Adam Cole any day over the week over this version of Adam Cole. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's just my personal opinion.
I thought Adam Cole did his best character work with Ring of Honor and I thought he did phenomenal. And it was kind of like the same thing. It was based around friendship there too with Red Dragon. So like it was a little bit different, but yeah, is it Roderick Strong? Is Roderick Strong maybe the disconnect for you?
It could be, but remember, you got to remember, and people are only going to hear and I don't even want to call it negative because I'm not being negative towards these guys. I'm just giving my opinions about why it might not be working for me. If we're talking about in ring, I can put Roderick over to the moon and tell you, oh yeah, Roderick's a great wrestler and blah, 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 blah. But from a character point of view, I'm just not seeing it yet. Now, I'm sure the AEW fan base is very much entertained by Roderick Strong and Adam Cole riding scooters and wheeling around and smiling, and yet, because it's relatable to them. It's not relatable to me. Can I get a chuckle out of it? Sure. But I don't think for me, it doesn't work for Adam Cole.
It's a tough one because it's easier for me to buy in the story with Adam Cole and MJF because they're starting that they're not friends. And the fans are like, all right, this is not a real friendship. MJF's going to screw over Adam Cole. But what they were able to do with the storytelling is that now you're buying in to MJF to the point where the fans are behind MJF even more than Adam Cole. It's beautiful storytelling. Now you have Roderick Strong and Adam Cole that are already friends. But now I'm looking at him like, how is Adam Cole friends with Roderick Strong? He's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. It's just
Dave,
like, how does Adam Cole not see this? It's the other side of the story.
Dave, I am going to commit a complete breach of etiquette.
Go ahead.
I'm going to triple dog dare you to truly say on the air right now what you were thinking when that segment aired last night. Because I know the true Dave LaGreca. And I could just see you sitting there on your couch watching these guys ride scooters and saying out like, "Get this fucking shit off of my TV."
I basically said that because at least I was like, "This is pathetic. This is fucking bad." Because, and maybe that's could that be the intent of it?
Like, no, that's not the intent of it.
And I agree with you. It would have been so much better. How much better would that have been if, like, Roderick Strong gave Adam Cole that scooter, right? And Adam Cole's looking at the scooter and he's saying, "Wow, man, thanks, Roddy, I appreciate it." And then Roderick Strong was like, "Come on, let's ride it. Let me see you ride it." And Cole was like, "Not now, not here. Come on. I want to see you ride it. Come on, let me see you ride it. Come on. It's going to give me so much joy to see you ride it around my house." Okay. And then Cole's riding it, but he's got that look of disgust on his face where Roddy's like clapping his hands and it's got a big smile. It's like, "Yeah, Adam, go. Yeah." And Cole's got this like look of like disdain on his face.
But when he makes a U-turn and Roddy can see his face, he starts to smile like he loves it. But then when he turns back around, he's miserable again.
Because he's like, "Why am I doing this? First of all, you can't even ride it. I'm in a fucking apartment. There's no room to ride it." And it's like so pathetic. Boy, this was so much more fun when I was doing it with my buddy MJF, right? But Adam
and you hear him under his breath say that. I wish Max was here.
I wish MJF was here. But how pathetic was it when you saw Adam Cole's face of this like look of true glee and happiness? I was like, what a fucking nerd. Like how
I can't even imagine what Britt thought.
It had to be a turnoff. But like it had to be. This fucking is riding his scooter with his friend Roddy, playing fucking video games. But like how much better would that segment have been? Because it's kind of like but that look of just like that look of happiness that Cole had on his face was like, ugh. I was like, oh man, immediately I wanted to turn it off because if he had the look of disgust, then it's like, I'm only doing this because I'm friends with this guy. So I feel like I have to do it. Like, so I'm going to do it. And it actually would have played into what happened later where Roddy's actually making him move furniture. Like, it's like, man, this guy is an asshole, but he's an old friend. I feel bad for him. Man, it would actually be, I don't know. Yeah.
Then at the end of the segment, when Cole leaves and he leaves with a look of disgust on his face and Roddy is saying out loud to Taven and Bennett, like, "Oh my God, we're such best friends." And Taven and Bennett just be like, "Oh my, yeah, like this is awful. You have no idea," because they see the real look on Cole's face. I like your idea. Listen, if you liked it, great. I'm glad you liked it because that's what it's there for. But some people are not going to like it.